Hello everyone, welcome back to another SwansCast match preview. Bit of an exciting one this maybe for Swansea City fans, because as much as it hasn't been officially announced and confirmed yet, we might have a new manager ahead of Saturday. And to discuss the game, I have Dave Salmon here from Shrimps Live. So thank you for joining me. I don't know if anyone here knows what the nickname is for Morecambe, but I take it that is the Shrimps.
It is indeed, Luke. Thanks for having me on. And you spoke about the new manager there. If it does turn out to be Luke Williams, it's Morecambe's fans' worst nightmare, really, because, of course, coming from Notts County, and we played them just last week, and they absolutely played us off the park and beat us 5-0. It could have been 25-0, to be honest with you. So great that we're going to be meeting him again so soon, probably.
Well, that's nice to hear for us, of course. He's been at the club before. He was with us as assistant before he went to Notts County. Obviously made a bit of a name for himself now. Not confirmed yet, but it looks like it's set to be potentially this evening, recording on, what day is it at the moment? Thursday the 4th. It's that time of the year, isn't there, where I forget what day of the week it is, to be honest. But Thursday the 4th in the evening we're recording, so no news yet. The match, of course, is on the 6th. 5:30 kick-off at the Swansea.com stadium for Morecambe's trip up in the FA Cup. Fourth round? Is it fourth?
Third round.
Third round? Third round. I always get that one wrong. I mean, we had a few years in the Premier League where we come in a bit later, but that's a few years ago now. But my mistake. Third round. So let's look ahead to that. I was interested to find out, actually, that apparently this is the first competitive fixture between the two clubs, so there is no history to talk about. So this will be a historic first competitive match between Swansea and Morecambe. But before we get into that match specifically, I kind of want to just ask about Morecambe, because I don't really know that much about how you guys are doing at the moment. I can see where you are in the league table, so you sit in 17th, kind of mid-table at the moment, I'd imagine, in League 2 then. So how is your season going so far, and compared to what the expectations might have been before the season started?
I don't think we had any expectations before the season started, Luke, really. I'll give you a very brief potted history of our last 15 months or so to give you a little bit of background. And it's, not to put too fine a point on it, a bit of a tale of woe, really, in terms of our ownership issues and things going on behind the scenes. We have a very unusual setup at Morecambe, whereas most clubs, the owner of the club would be the chairman, wouldn't they? Or they would at least be on the board of directors. We have the situation where our owner isn't on the board. He doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day running of the club. He's not the chairman, nothing like that. So we have a really brilliant board of directors and chief exec and people who run the club amazingly day to day. But this is against the backdrop of our owner trying to sell the club. And he's been trying to sell the club for 15, 16 months now, unsuccessfully for various different reasons. And we were in League One last season, got relegated on the final day. And the financial constraints of where we're at as a club at the moment meant that we had to release every single one of our first team squad who wasn't under contract, whether we wanted him to offer a new deal or not, because we didn't have any money to offer him a new deal. We somehow put together a competitive squad on no money at all, really, to compete and start the season in League 2. And the ownership saga's rumbled on and on and on, to the point where it's now become a huge distraction, really. And the season started well. We, at one point, had a 9-10 game unbeaten run. We were on the fringes of the automatic promotion places at one point, and there were one point where if we'd have won a game, we'd have gone second in the table. And I wouldn't like to say the wheels have fallen off. I don't think that's quite fair to say that, but the season's certainly been derailed to a large extent as a result of what's happened off the field. Not helped by our manager leaving about 7 weeks ago. Derek Adams, a Morecambe hero manager, got us into League One, kept us there as well. He went back to Ross County in Scotland. So we've not got much of a backroom team at the moment for one reason or another either. Off the field issues as well. And that's why we are where we are, really. So going into the FA Cup third round, Luke, we were really hoping for some kind of a glamour tie, really. We were hoping for a big Premier League club away from home. We played Tottenham away a couple of seasons ago. We played Chelsea during the lockdown season away. And for the financial boost, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, when Swansea came out, we were all a little bit, well, it's all right. The Championship, yeah, it's all right. And obviously you've got an amazing stadium, former Premier League club, and we're still going to have a great day. But it wasn't quite the glamour tide that we were hoping for. But I suppose the other side of the coin is it probably gives us a bit more of a fighting chance of causing an upset.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that actually about the draw, because I did see maybe some of that feeling amongst the fan base when the draw was made. But now in knowing a bit more history and background with your recent goings on at the club, I guess it makes a bit more sense. These cup matches, maybe we don't appreciate it where we have been in our recent history, how much value they can add to the lower league clubs, and how much when you're in those sort of financial troubles, the gate receipts from some of these trips from the FA Cup can do massive favours for the club. And you said with the contracts, maybe that's a couple of players that you're able to keep for another season. I didn't realise any of that had happened, so that's news to me and quite sad to hear, really. I hope that whatever the solution is happens soon, and the club can maybe start to build up again. It sounds like that's what a lot of fans, I'd imagine, now are waiting for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've waited for the sale of the club for far too long, really. I don't think that there's any getting away from that. I think things are going to start to move on in the next few weeks and couple of months, hopefully, and we can come to a satisfactory conclusion, because at the moment we haven't got any money. We've got a suspended 3-point deduction hanging over us as well, because we paid the wages late for a month last season. It looks like that's going to be invoked because we've breached the conditions of the suspended points deduction. So that's coming down the track in a couple of weeks' time as well. And hopefully there are sunnier skies, calmer waters ahead, fingers crossed. A cup run would help, though, and beating you on Saturday, Luke, would certainly put a few extra quid in the coffers. And January transfer window, of course, opened. It all helps, doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, it's a shame, because I'd love to say, we'd love to help you out, but in our current situation, I think the squad's going to want to turn up for the new manager if he does come in, and it's a chance to sort of lay the foundations down about the new regime, isn't it? So it's a bit of a tricky one to sort of assess going into it from where we are currently. I can't, because we could be going in with no one, or we could be going in with a new guy, or the new guy in the stands with the knowledge inside the club he's coming in, but maybe the knowledge outside the club not confirmed, if that makes sense. But I'm sure it'll be an interesting cup tie, and I hope it is exciting and a bit of end-to-end action, as we'd like to see in some of these FA Cup matches. But yeah, we'll talk about a little bit then about Morecambe and how you guys play. It sounds like maybe the squad, I'm assuming, might be a bit thin from what you've just said. So maybe, you're the best man to sort of talk to me about it. I meant to say at the beginning, but obviously you do some work for iFollow and you comment on the club's matches and stuff, you were telling me. So, and also you've got a podcast yourself. So if you can just let us know where we could find your stuff if we wanted to go and look for that.
No, you're very kind, Luke. Yes, I'm the club's official iFollow commentator, so very, very lucky and in the privileged position where we can follow the team home and away through thick and thin, which is great. League and Cup, we are there no matter what. Also, that's broadcast on the local radio station called Beyond Radio as well. And as part of that, we do a podcast called the Shrimps Verdict. You can search for that wherever you get your pods from, and that's highlights and reaction of the game that's just played. And of course, we always look ahead to the match that's coming up as well. So we're in a really lucky position, and I know there's lots of people who would like to be in the same position where they could follow the team so closely. So it's something that we never take for granted, and hopefully we deliver content that the fans enjoy.
I'm sure you do, and I'm looking forward to hearing all your insight now, being there for every match. So usually I introduce the video with that sort of question to sort of introduce yourself, and my apologies for not doing so this time. But go check out Shrimps TV for the pre-match to see how Morecambe are kind of feeling ahead of the game, and then after the game, go check it out, depending on whatever the result is, really, to see, especially if there's an upset, you want to go and hear how delighted, and how big that is for the club, because I'm sure a lot of Swansea fans will remember when we were back there, how how big these days were. You can get somewhere you get stuffed, but there's always that one that's magic. And if that does happen, I'm sure it'll be a similar feeling. And looking forward to the next draw, and hopefully then boost your coffers again if you get a good one. Okay, so let's have a look at the style then. So as a Swansea fan then, and fans listening, I don't really know what to expect from Morecambe going into this game. So what should we expect to see? Obviously an away game for you. So will that matter to your style of play or not? And what is it going to be? What is your style, and how do you expect to play football in this match?
I don't think being away from home will matter too much. I think we're gonna go for it. To be honest with you, I think if we try and soak up the pressure, we'll be on a bit of a hide into nothing. Really, we've got nothing to lose. I've heard some supporters say, "Well, it's a bit rude to call it a free hit," but I think that's what it is. Really, it's League Two. For me personally, it's League Two against Championship. We've got, if we lose, we are expected to lose. It's as simple as that. You play two divisions high. You've got players in your first team that used to be in the Premier League and all that kind of stuff. So it is a free hit for us. But that said, if we can play to our best, we will certainly give you a game. I'm not saying that we would definitely pull up an upset, but we've beaten two League One sides in the shape of Lincoln and Wycombe Wanderers in the first two rounds. So we've gone away to a high division club twice already and won. So there's no reason why we can't at least make it competitive. In terms of style of play, we are a counter-attacking team. I would imagine we'll play 4-2-3-1. So one central striker, three in support, like a number 10, and then two out-and-out wide players left and right. There'll be two holding central midfielders, and then a traditional flat back four, if you like. We'll soak up the pressure. We'll let you have all of the ball. I'd imagine you'll probably have 65-70% possession, but that won't bother us too much as long as it's in areas that you're not going to do anything with the ball. We'll watch you pass it around for fun on the halfway line, even midway inside our own half. No problem at all. You can knock it about all day long. And then our plan will probably be to try, when you do eventually have to play a forward ball, to try and nick it away. And then we try and get the ball wide, and we try and attack with pace on the break. Not direct, not route one by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly getting the ball forward fast and efficient, and then getting the ball into the box. So you can expect to have all possession, Luke, and hopefully when we get the ball, we'll try our best to hit you on the counter.
So obviously for Swansea, we've gone through a period where we kind of changed the style a bit with Michael Duff, and he's gone now. What you've just described is literally how everyone used to set up against us under Russell Martin last season and the season before. And I'd imagine how we will become more familiar with again if Luke Williams is announced. As that's the sort of style of football I would imagine we will see once again, as you just mentioned earlier on. You played them not so long ago, and maybe the same sort of thing. But it does, I hate hearing that game plan against us, because I've seen so many times where it works so well. Yeah, just pass it about, do whatever you want with the ball. We're going to sit back, and then all of a sudden we've had 80% of the ball. You get one chance and it's a goal. It was a story of so many matches under Russell Martin. So that is the way to kind of go about yourself, go about the game plan, I think, when you're playing against these sort of systems. The other thing I think works, and I'm wondering if you will show any of this, you said you let us have the ball. When we've played this way under Russell Martin, our biggest area of concern and weakness was being pressed in our own half. So will there be any of that from Morecambe?
Yes. Traditionally, we have this season a very young, hungry, fit team. It's changed a little bit in the last few days with a couple of injuries, and a couple of our loan players have been recalled by their parent clubs as well. I don't think any more of our young loanees are going to be recalled before the weekend. Fingers crossed. I think we're going to be okay for Saturday, though. And that's what we do. We press. We're going to try and nick the ball away. It's as simple as that. But if it's in areas where you're not going to be doing anything with it, you can pass it along your back four all day long for our money, and on the halfway line. Yeah, you carry on all day, and we'll watch you do that.
It would be interesting anyway, because obviously if it is the first game under Luke Williams, I don't know how much of that new style will be in, or what it's going to really look like, because we're not really doing that at the moment. But I guess if you're letting us have the ball, and they will know what they did last season and kind of revert back to that, I'd imagine. So whether they got any clinical edge, not fully convinced with some of our clinical attacking plays this season. So
Well, the thing is, Luke, knowing that how Notts County play, having played them twice already this season under Luke Williams, he is as high a possession manager as I've ever seen in my life, really. Almost to the nth degree of ball retention, and if there's nothing on, they'll play it back and recycle and recycle and recycle.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where it was a bit boring at sometimes. It works, obviously, because ultimately you bide your time until you've got the exact killer pass. And I think the one thing Notts County do really well is they can go through the gears, so they can knock it around very pedestrian for a good couple of minutes, and then suddenly, boom, they're suddenly in top gear and hit with speed. And that's what did for us only last week. It was 29th of December when we played them, just last Friday, and they absolutely annihilated us, unfortunately. So that's what you can expect from Luke Williams.
It's crazy because everything you described is what Russell Martin did, and obviously Luke Williams being his number 2. You can see why where it comes from, but it's crazy to hear how similar that is. Now he's gone and done his own managerial stuff as well. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I'm intrigued to see how it's going to go. So from your players then, I know you mentioned you lost quite a few players in the summer. You mentioned a bit about your formation. So do you expect to see a full first team featuring in this one? And if so, who would be the key players for Swansea to look out for?
We've got a few. We're missing a couple. We've had one of our lone defenders recalled back to his parent club, Bristol Rovers, so he won't play, obviously. We've also got a couple of injuries to a couple of our key players. Our captain is currently injured. Our first choice goalkeeper is currently injured. And one of our main attacking midfielders, JJ McKeon, went off with a leg injury on Saturday. So he's also injured as well. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, which is a shame because he's been playing really well. But we have got some players that can excite and cause you problems. There's no question about that. I would be looking at our main central striker. There's a guy called Michael Mellon. You might be familiar with his dad, also called Mickey Mellon. Funnily enough, had a good playing career. He's managed quite a few clubs in the EFL during his career. He's currently the manager of Oldham in the National League. But Mickey June is on loan from Burnley. I think he's just turned 20. He's got 15 goals to his name this season. And if he's fully fit, because he's been ill for about 2 weeks, been laid really low with the bug. He missed a game and then he's come off the bench, and he only lasted 45 minutes last time out on New Year's Day. So fingers crossed he's going to be fully fit and fine, because he's certainly one to watch. Look to our wings as well. Adam Mayer, who's been in the England under-20 squad earlier this season, left winger. He'll get the ball. He'll try and drive to the byline to get the crosses in. Tom Bloxham on loan from Shrewsbury on the opposite flank. Again, big 6'4", wide, tall player. Again, only 20 years old. He's going to try and do the same on the right. And we've got a Rolls Royce of a midfield. I don't want to swear on your broadcast, Luke, but he's from Cardiff. Unfortunately, he's called Eli King, and he's a great footballer.
Don't say that. He's
central. So if he plays, he's going to obviously want to get one over on Swansea. Absolutely. He's going to play far higher in the league too. He's going to be at least a championship footballer in the years to come. He just celebrated his 21st birthday last week as well. And he'll try. He's like the string puller, if you like. He's like the person that makes us all tick. So I'll certainly be looking at those 4 players. Missing a couple, like I say, but it gives others in the squad an opportunity, doesn't it? But you are right, Luke. We have got quite a thin squad at the moment, unfortunately. And if a few of our lone players do get recalled next week, and I haven't got any inside information as to whether they are or not, but they've all done well enough for clubs higher up the pyramid to want to take them. You know, you fear the worst, don't you? Unfortunately, we have strengthened the squad as well. The player who you might be familiar with from his younger days, and Guion Edwards, who we've signed until the end of the season.
I believe.
I think he's going to be in the squad as well. But he's not played very much for the last year or so because he was injured and he was without a club until we signed him.
Was his last club Blackburn, or he was recently at Blackburn?
He was at Wigan. He was at Wigan, and then he got sent on loan to Ross County, I think, and then got released from Wigan in the summer. But he's loads of games for Ipswich, Peterborough United, got loads of Championship and League One experience. So we're hoping that we can get him firing and up to speed. I'd imagine he'd probably be on the bench on Saturday, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know why I said Blackburn. I think I got him mixed up with another club. But he's definitely from Swansea Academy. He never really made an appearance for us, but it's nice to see that he's made a career in a football league. Otherwise, so it'll be good to see him get on the pitch for this game, and I'm sure he would love to be on the pitch as well. I guess he'd love to score against the club that it will began for him too, but hopefully that doesn't happen for our sake. Funny story. He's actually literally a few days younger than me, literally a few days. So makes me think about my life choices a bit. But
You've got about 300 career professional appearances between you as well. It's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Not that much at all. Okay, I'm going to flip the question. I don't know how much you know about our squad, but is there anyone that stands out as someone that worries you a little bit in this match?
I like Jerry Yates. I don't know how much he's played for you this season when you signed him from Blackpool, but I watched him play quite often when he played for Blackpool, and I think he's a terrific. He's one of those in your face, doesn't give you a second to breathe kind of strikers, isn't he? So
Yeah.
I'd imagine he will, if he's not being in and around the league team too much, he might play on Saturday. You've signed, was it Yannick Bolasie? You've signed, you spoke to Crystal Palace as well. So those are the kind of names. I mean, you look through the whole of your team, really, Luke. Joe Allen, I'm looking forward to seeing as well. I know obviously he's not quite the player he was in his absolute prime, but he's still a footballer, isn't he? And I think you've got quality throughout the team, really. So if you go strong, and I think new manager, I don't like using the phrase new manager bounce, but they're going to want to play for the new manager for their place in the league team, aren't they? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So we are concerned, I would say, yeah.
I thought there'd be a lot of rotation, but obviously with the events that's happened basically since yesterday, with the likelihood of Williams coming in, I now feel maybe there would be more of a first team look, because he's going to want to see what he has, especially being in January, to see where he does need to strengthen and where he wants to spend a bit of money. So I would imagine a bit of a strong squad lining up for Swansea. But Yates hasn't been starting the last few games, but obviously was signed as a main guy for the season. He has started most of the season, only really been dropped under Sheehan recently. As for Bolasie, he's obviously on a temporary loan, not loan, like a short-term deal, which expires at the end of the month. I think he's still convincing whether he needs a longer contract or not. He's shown flashes of the exciting former player that he was, but also shown exactly how he's 34 years old and struggling to maybe find a club. So whether we see him or not, I'd imagine maybe off the bench potentially. And I can't remember the other name you mentioned now. But those two specifically. Joe Allen, sorry. So he's just come back from injury, so could be in line for the first start. But again, it goes back to what I said about the new manager and who he will want, because there's no midweek games either side of it as well. I feel like he's going to pick the team that he thinks is his strong team, to then assess and be like, right, this is what I need to build from. But we'll see. He'll probably feature off the bench if he doesn't start, though, because he is still returning from fitness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that pretty much sums up most of what I want to go through today. I will ask then, just a bit of a prediction. Where do you see this one going, and how confident are you about maybe providing a bit of an upset yourself?
Well, our away form in the league this season, Luke's been very up and down. We've had a high of beating a team 5-0. We've also been walloped 5-0 and 6-0 away from home, and every other result in between. So our away form is a mixed bag. But that said, we've beaten 2 League One sides in the first and the second round, and we comprehensively beat 2 League One sides in the first round. And I think that's what the magic of the FA Cup's all about, isn't it? It's about creating those upsets. I'm a bit concerned that it's going to be potentially Luke Williams' first game in charge, given what we know about him from Notts County. I think that's going to worry every single Morecambe fan, really. We hoped it would last another week, but clearly that's not probably going to be the case. I think if you get an early goal, it might be potentially a long afternoon for us. The longer we can keep it at 0-0, obviously the more chance we've got of coming into the game. I don't suppose we're going to get a massive amount of chances. We've just got to make sure that we're clinical with the chances that we do create. And I think we will create chances. We're not going to sit back by any means. Well, we'll sit back and counter-attack, obviously, as I explained, but we're not going to come and play for a draw. I don't think that's for sure. But I would certainly take a replay at this very moment. I don't think any Morecambe fan would disagree with that, because if for no other reason, that would get a few more £1,000 in the pot for us potentially for the transfer window. So we wouldn't mind a replay at all. But I think it's going to be very difficult. I think Championship against League Two, it's always a bit of a jump, isn't it, when you go 2 divisions up? But if we turn up, we will certainly give you a game, and whatever happens, you will know at the end of the match, Luke, that you've been in a game of football. That's for sure.
What I will say is, and maybe fill you a bit of confidence, the last time Swansea had League Two in this round, or the first round they featured in, I think it was the same round, we lost to Oxford United, so lost 3-2 in that game. So it's happened. We could definitely, fail to turn up if you like.
Well, we've never been further than the 3rd round, Luke, neither. I think this is the 6th time in our history that we've been in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. So
it's the first time for everything.
If we were to get through, it would be history being made. So, it's got to happen at some point, hasn't it?
Something to play for there, though, isn't there? So, I mean, the players are going to want to do that. They'll be in the history books forever. So, who knows? Anything could happen in the FA Cup. We'll have to wait and see, of course, on Saturday. So, yeah, if you are heading down to the game, enjoy. Are you coming down for this one?
I certainly am, looking forward to it. And it's about a 5-hour drive from North Lancashire.
I know it's quite a trek, isn't it? Yeah.
There's no easy way. You can either go all the way through Wales from the north all the way down, or you can go down the M6 and then across on the M4. And I think that's the route that we're going to take. So
yeah, that's probably the quick one.
Leaving about Morecambe about 10 a.m. Getting back about 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. But we're really looking forward to it, because you don't get, to be honest with you, Luke, when you play League Two football, you don't get to experience and enjoy good modern football stadiums very often. And I know we're going to get a warm welcome. You always do when you go to Wales. That's taken as read. So I think for the Morecambe fans travelling, they're going to be in for a treat. And I think similar to some of our League One days, Luke, when we played like the Derby and Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday and Portsmouth and the other big clubs in big stadiums, it's a nice day out, isn't it? And I think my motto is, don't let the football spoil a good away day. And that I don't think any Morecambe fan will. Even if you absolutely wallop us on Saturday, we'll still have a good weekend in South Wales. That's for sure.
No, definitely. And if you are coming, and we do announce Luke Williams, there should be a better atmosphere than normal. For the fact that it will be the introduction of a new manager who will be introduced to the home fans. So I hope you guys get to enjoy and soak that atmosphere in. And I guess for you, it'll be a massive day if you can kind of spoil the party, if you like. So something for you guys to sort of play for there. Talking about the stadiums, I'd like to end on a little bit of a funny or fun question, if you like. Nothing to excite you about coming to our ground in regards to this question. Trust me. But I like to ask everyone, when you go to any football stadium, what's the best footy scran or footy food that you ever had before?
Oh, I've had a few nice ones, Luke, to be honest. Not so much this season, actually, let me tell you. But I think without any shadow of a doubt, I'm going to take Tottenham Hotspur out of the equation, because they're on just a completely different plane. And when you go to a Premier League club, and they properly looked after us, we had a 3-course a la carte meal at Tottenham, and it was fantastic. But taking that aside, I think I would have to say it's Wycombe Wanderers. They always give you a great welcome, and they always have nice hot food. It's always like a lasagna or a risotto or something like that. And I'd have to say, apart from the Mazuma Mobile Stadium, of course, away from home, I think it's Wycombe. But Tottenham Hotspur was on a different level entirely. So hopefully Swansea can take Wycombe's ground. Hopefully.
Maybe. I was referring to more of our concourse options, but maybe in hospitality and stuff, I'd like to think it's a bit better. We should offer something good. There's no excuse for them in that department down there. They don't get it right on the concourse, but I've not experienced the food in hospitality other than like a Christmas party or something a couple of years ago, but it'll all be different now. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope they'll look after you, and I hope you have a good trip, safe drive, and enjoy your evening, I guess, and your trip to Wales. And if it's a replay, we'll hopefully have the same coming up to you guys, which I'm sure will be a completely different experience. But for us, it's the opposite, where it's nice to go to them older grounds and experience because we used to have that, not so long ago, really, and it's a trip down memory lane in a way as well, and never know when you could end up back into those leagues as well. So, but yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Dave, and good luck for Saturday and the rest of your season. I hope you manage to resolve the issues at the club, and it'll be good to see you maybe shoot back up the league in the coming years as well.
Fingers crossed, Luke. Fingers crossed. Thanks very much for inviting me on. Really appreciate it. Good luck to all Swansea supporters as well for the rest of the season. After Saturday, of course, we would absolutely love a cup upset. We'd love to be in the fourth round for the first time, and enjoy Luke Williams as well. I think he's the perfect fit for you. You're gonna be going places, I think.
I hope so. I really do hope that is the case, because we've had a bit of a tricky couple of months, and it'd be good to get it back on track. But yeah, thanks once again. Go check out the Shrimps live podcast, and maybe I'll chat to you another time in years to come.
Cheers, Luke. All the best, mate.